on this week's GTA 5 O'Clock. More news of the GTA Online content creator. Lindsay Lohan takes action. Plus, could we be one step away from finding the jetpack? You're minutes away from finding out on this week's GTA 5 O'Clock. Hey guys, and welcome to this week's GTA 5 O'Clock. I am your host, James Jarvis, and I am joined, as ever, by GTA 5 O'Clock expert, Dan Dawkins.
Hello there.
Hello, Dan. Today we've got lots coming up on the show. We've got some brand new information about the content creator and all the things that are going to be in that. We're going to talk Lindsay Lohan, and a bit later at the end we're going to have a couple more things about the jetpack. Interested, Dan?
I'm very interested because I don't know what they are. So I look forward to it, James.
Yeah, well, let's crack on then with the new information that we've got about the content creator. Now, these are some videos that have leaked out during the week, and they are actually from the same guy who posted the clips from the GTA DLC that we featured last week.
Yeah, we talked about leaked. I say not leaked. It was actually extracted from files within the game using sort of relatively complex PC techniques, not at the power of the common man. But those did sound fairly legitimate. We went through a lot of the audio last week. There were some audio clippets of Lester speaking and talking about features such as mobile phone enhancements.
And the casino.
Yeah, a casino heist expansion, which is exactly what people want. And I think our conclusion was basically, this sounds legit. Well, to perhaps lend further credence to last week, is this week's content leak, because this content creator isn't just audio files, it's in fact video, it's menus. I mean, if this was to be a fake, this is some fake. Because it really is everything you'd expect from a GTA content creator. The menus in exactly the style you come to expect, same visuals. Yeah. It just looks legit.
Yeah, that's right. And interestingly, though, that this does look so legit, and it's from the same guy that did the audio stuff last week, probably lends more credence to that stuff being real.
Definitely. I think the validity of the leaked online audio content now looks pretty assured. This looks pretty definite. And again, the only thing you could say is, are these things cut content never to appear? Well, truthfully, they're all things people want for online, so I think basically this is all going to come to pass. Yeah,
just before we crack on and have a look at exactly what's in these videos, Dan, just as an aside, where do you think these are coming from? Like these supposed leaks? Do you think they are a very clever viral marketing type thing, or are they just some guys going into the game files?
Well, you think somehow it's Rockstar accidentally leaking promotional material or test bedding what they're doing with an audience?
I mean, it's possible.
James, you conspirator.
Well, and you've got to keep. I mean, obviously, we know the Xbox One and the PS4s are out now, and a lot of people will be going off and playing them. And to keep the hype train on the track, you want to put some stuff out there and go, don't forget about this.
I mean, I couldn't say that's definitely not the case, but I think given
but you're going to.
Yeah, but given the sort of the voracious nature of the GTA community, you only have to look at when we were speculating about the game, and getting an awful lot right. There was an awful lot of other people in the world, particularly the GTA mapping project on GTA forums, where essentially they've mapped using science and screenshots the entire game. Now I think it's people with similar rigor and technical skills applying that to assets that are available to them now the game is out and have been changed subsequently with the Beach Bum DLC pack. Yeah. I think they're just hacking into them. I think they're finding this stuff. I guess what's interesting is that Rockstar haven't moved for a takedown of any of this content, so that's peculiar. They certainly did move to take down when there were the initial leaks from the first retail copies.
Yeah, and even the achievements lists and stuff got quite swiftly taken down.
Exactly, because they were seen as spoilers, and I guess this stuff isn't seen as spoilers. Maybe Rockstar are actually interested to gauge people's reactions to what's being shown in them, particularly given the teething troubles they've had with GTA Online. But I don't know if it's explicitly a developer on Rockstar North has been asked to create an alias and accidentally leak things. It could be. I'm not saying it can't, but I don't think it is. I think it's probably community-led, but you don't know. You literally don't know.
Alright then, so let's jump straight into these videos. We're not going to put these videos on screen just because of the way they have been extracted and the way that they are out there, but there are links in the description to each one, so you can go and check them out yourself alongside this video or at the end. So Dan, let's jump straight in. What can we see then in these content creator videos?
Well, you see what you'd sort of expect from a creation tool, where you'll see a guy moving around a cursor which can drop different points in the world. Now you see a sort of big open industrial car park space. In the top left, he's got a series of menus.
Mm-hmm.
So you see menus top left, and the first video talks about weapons, and he drops weapons onto the environment in different spots, and I believe you can drop up to 50 different spawn points of weapons.
Wow.
You can see on the radar in the bottom left there's like lots of blue dots which indicate different spawn point locations. There's different weapon locations, and it also says that you can drop items either using like a placement dropper,
mm-hmm.
like a spot, or you can walk through the level like you would play it and drop things manually, so you get a better sense of the scale of the levels and how things sit. Now what the text also says is that there's certain points of the map that the overhead placement camera cannot see, because obviously you can't from on top view under tunnels, you can't view inside buildings, so that's stuff you'd probably have to do on foot yourself. Now what's amazing about these videos is it does really show off a full range of options and the kind of different things you can do. You look at, there's a main creator menu where there's a big subset of different menu options. First one is like place trigger, so you can place a trigger point. It says place a lobby camera. You can place it or preview it. Now a lobby camera is what you see in the background when you're waiting in the lobby. So it could be a panning thing of the the beach side or some other part of the scenery. You can set spawn points, and it says there needs to be at least 2 spawn points per player, and it shows the number of spawn points in the bottom right corner. It also gives away in the video, you can see it's all being played on PlayStation 3, which is quite interesting. I got excited saying, oh, this is next gen, but it just isn't. It's just simply
just
PS3. So yeah, you've got your spawn points. Then you can set, you've got a menu option for weapons, which we'll go through a subset in a minute. Then you've got vehicles, we'll go through a subset in a minute. Props, which are interesting scenery items. In fact, I'll just do that quickly now. Props, you've got things like this, break into 3 types: category, type, and cycle items. So the category might be barriers, and a type of that might be a construction fence, or alternatively it could be category buoys, like you see in the sea, or cabins. There's all different types you can break down by that. So even from this glimpse of footage, you could see him setting down different vehicles. Like you could even set down tanks. You could set down tanks and then say set a row of construction fences. So part of the task might be to smash through 5 fences to get to a different objective point, or literally a tank race where you're constantly blowing up and exploding bits of scenery. And your mind's racing straight away just seeing these very basic tools. Now you also beyond props, you've got a randomize option. Now what you can do is drop a spot on the scenery and set a radius around it, let's say 30 meters, 50 meters, and it will randomize spawn points and weapons within that radius you've set.
Oh, that's good.
It's a cute way to shortcut it if you say you've done most of the grunt work, but you've got some dead space on the map. You want to fill out. It's a nice way to do it. You can toggle the radar, and you can toggle the degree of zoom on the radar you see in the bottom left. And then finally there's the delete options, so you can go through and delete things you've been through and done. You can also see in the bottom right hand side the actual button presses you're using to affect things. So L2 and R2 will zoom you in and out of the top down map. You can press select to change the camera. You can press square to delete the object you just put down, which could be like an Uzi or some other weapon. Circle to go back, up a menu, or you can press X to place or edit the choice of weapon you put down or the spawn point you've put down. So it's really exhaustive options. You can then go through to you can set up races, which is an incredibly exhaustive set of options.
There's loads of stuff in there.
They can focus also on death matches. Now the deathmatch creator breaks down as such. You've got deathmatch details, you've got the creator, you've got a radio option where you can listen to the GTA 5's radio while you make things, just to make it less boring, I suppose, while you make stuff.
It's nice having a bit of audio background in there, because normally making these kind of levels and stuff is just full of nothing or just ambient sounds, but to actually listen to some radio that's a nice touch. Yeah,
it's really nice. And then you can press to test the level, obviously, to check it out. You can then save the level, you can publish the level, as you'd expect, placing it online, or exit, and then you pop out back into GTA Online itself. So I mean, that's like a broad overview of what it offers you. It's all largely in line with what you expect. The race editor is incredibly interesting because of the range of vehicles it gives you. There's dumper trucks, we've seen ambulances, you can see military tanks, you've got a dock handler, tipper, mixer, rhino tanks, which is super exciting. I like the idea of a rhino tank explosive race, particularly in line with what we'd said with different scenery. Again, we haven't seen things like, can you set jumps, can you create stunts? I don't know yet, but like all the rudimentary options seem to be there, particularly in combination with the props.
Yeah, I think in one of the options, I'm not, and I could be wrong, so don't berate me in the comments, but I think there is a stunt jumps level menu that has an option in there that just says place, so you can go around and choose where that stunt jump is going to be. How that affects doing stunt jumps in the game, I don't know, because you can do stunt jumps in GTA Online as it is at the moment.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you can create your own stunt jumps, I think you put out on our GTA Oclock Twitter, imagine creating a giant stunt jump that you just do with like 20 people, and it's like jumping over a ravine or something.
I'd love to do proper super org. I mean, they want to put in I'm sure they will do this. They want to take it to the level of like Skate or Skate 3, which had an incredible editor, and you could drop into the environment anywhere, multiple stunt-based objects. Now, if you can put really extreme ramps, loop-the-loops in fact, we tweeted a video on the at GtaVvideos Oclock account the other day of amazing GTA 4 PC mod ramps and loop-the-loops, and that stuff was honestly mind-bending, like beyond Evel Knievel, at the edges of reality type stuff, where you're dropping off a skyscraper, loop the loop off a sign, and then jump 50 foot onto a railing and stuff like that. But that's what you want, because that's where people's skill and imagination really shine. So I think maybe they'll save some of that stuff for like almost like the mad times before it starts to look like the Matrix in GTA Online.
So anything more to add about this content creator stuff? I mean, it looks very exciting. Let's touch on when you think it might be arriving. As one of your predictions, Dan, king of predictions.
Well,
wouldn't this be a great Christmas present?
Yeah, it would be a great Christmas present. I mean, if this leaked content is real, it's clearly a very developed tool. But whether that's developed and works fine in a sort of offline environment, which defeats the entire point of it being online. Whether Rockstar experimented with it and just went, this is creating too many problems, we've got to really make sure it's locked tight.
Yeah.
But I think they're clearly a long way down the road with it. You could say pre-Christmas, but it would be a complete drop from the blue. Rockstar's form has generally been to only announce things a week or so in advance. They've told this, in Rockstar Social Club newsletter stuff, to say expect exciting news about single-player DLC. So I mean, hey, maybe that's the next thing down the pipe. If you want to make me say before Christmas, James, I will.
I don't want to make you say anything.
I literally don't know.
You have to think. I think the content creator, if it comes in DLC, will be a standalone piece of DLC on its own. Then we've also got the other stuff about the casinos and things, which you'd think would also be a standalone piece of DLC. And then there's this single player stuff. So I mean, they can't all come out at Christmas.
It seems like too big a drop of stuff, and I would expect the single player stuff to be paid for DLC. I don't expect them to give away, like, let's say they've got something planned on the scale of the Ballad of Gay Tony or Lost and the Damned. That's not going to be free. And why should they give it away free? I mean, that's a huge undertaking. You'd expect to pay a moderate sum of, say, let's say £10, $15 to $20 for that sort of thing. So that's fine. But I think you would expect the creator to be free. Now, whether when things settle down they're going to go, the base, content creator is free, and you buy amazing cars or modes or ramps through microtransactions. I think Rockstar have had to hush up the entire microtransactions element of GTA Online, because frankly they've had enough of a Twitter backlash and user backlash to deal with. And if they were to then layer, particularly given the fact people were literally losing items and money and God knows what, imagine that if it actually involved real money, it would be apocalyptic. So they've got to lock everything to the floor before they start actually charging for things. But I mean, that will be on their roadmap, as well, you'd have thought, at some stage. next gen, as we've long talked about. And I think sensibly they're not going to talk about next gen, if it exists, which we've always said it does, probably after Christmas, because you're not going to want to jeopardise peak sales period when you've got a game in the shops on two massively, and for all the talk of how well PlayStation 4 and Xbox One has sold, let's say in the UK, PS4, they've said it sold 250,000 consoles in a week, but there's like 8 million PS3s, whatever it is. It's a huge amount more. So you're going to focus on selling PlayStation 3 copies of Grand Theft Auto. Once you think you've rinsed that dry and you go, right, we've saturated that market, PS4 is growing now, it's a bigger install base, let's look to launch PS4 GTA April, May, that kind of time.
And you have to think, with the PS3 and 360 stuff, they'll probably want to get at least one piece of DLC out there in the wild, so then when the next gen version comes along, it can be like the complete package. So you buy, you go, I haven't got that DLC, I do want the next gen version, I'll just buy the complete set, and then it'll be all together like that.
That's a really good point. I think they're going to want to bring out, because a lot of people will go, why should I pay again for an upscale version of GTA 5? Well, apart from the fact it's probably going to take a big leap visually. And the great thing is we haven't even got a benchmark. It's not like they've made a PC version already, so we're in our minds, we're already used to seeing it at that resolution. It's going to be a real shot out of the blocks. They can optimise it for next gen and make it really sexy, high res, beautiful draw distance, great filtering effects. That's really going to make a difference to the way it feels.
And much faster as well, loading and all of that.
And fluid. Cap it at 30 frames. Maybe 60 frames is a bit ambitious, but cap it at 30 frames. Maybe take the online player count up. Instead of 16, you take it up to 32. You take it up to 64. That would be mind blowing. Exciting. That's what you want. You want it to be that big and that vibrant. There's all that scale. So you want to bring all that in with the next gen version, along with a really robust content creator, along with probably definitive single player content for the full experience. And like they did with the previous PC version of GTA 4, that launched with a unique content creator. You want stuff like that.
Okay, so that's the content creator that Dan has predicted will be out by Christmas. So we'll see in the next few weeks whether he's right or not. Let's move on to Lindsay Lohan and her apparently there's some claims going around that she's considering taking legal action against Rockstar for use of her a sort of image without her permission.
Yeah, this is all a little bit flaky, as in entertainment website TMZ, really well known for various celebrity shenanigans. I've made that word up. That's shenanigans and some other word. Now, she said apparently called in her lawyers to take action against GTA 5, claiming that they've hijacked her image without permission. And they say Lohan's lawyers are currently crafting a lawsuit demanding Rockstar Games pay some serious money for using Lindsay's image. The evidence seems to be based entirely on the fact that the girl holding the phone looks like Lindsay.
Yeah, well, I think there's 3 bits of evidence that the case is supposedly going to hinge on. The first bit is that Lacey Jonas in the game, which is the demo that you saw when you went back to see it ages ago, when you have to, as Michael, drive her away from the paparazzi. She thinks that might be a resemblance of her. And then there's a mission with a red-headed girl where you have to take photographs of an actress who appears to be at the GTA version of the Chateau Marmont in West Hollywood. She thinks that might be her. And then the third bit, which is a bit of a stretch, is that, yes, the woman holding the iFruit phone, the blonde lady on the beach, supposedly Lindsay thinks that might be her as well, which looks a lot more like Kate Upton.
A lot more like Kate Upton
than anybody else.
And there's, in fact, maybe we can show it on screen, there's a very famous Photoshop morphing from the famous Kate Upton Sports Illustrated photo shoot to the girl holding the phone, and it's like eerily identical. So that seems like the inspiration. To further throw a spanner in that works, the actual inspiration apparently is UK model Shelby Wellender, who lives in New York, who has in fact been in touch with us in the past because I think she was keen to help out the kid who'd got attacked.
Oh yeah,
or stabbed after he bought his copy of GTA 5. God bless her. So it did seem much more likely that she was the, and hey, she looks like the girl holding the phone.
Yes,
and
that's
she says she
true.
is, and she showed a copy of her paycheck from Rockstar,
which you'd think is explicitly means it's
yeah.
definitely.
So I mean, if it's not her likeness, Lindsay Lohan, I don't know whose is. So I'd write off that on that account. Now in the game itself, you said there is the Lacey Jonas meeting, and you escort her home from the paparazzi. Yes, that could be a scenario that may not be unlike one that's been in Lindsay Lohan's life, but I don't think Lindsay Lohan has sole domain over troubled young actress pursued by paparazzi and or young actress involved in sex/drug scandal. That seems to be she's today's Hollywood celebrity who embodies all of that, fairly or not.
Yeah.
But I think in history it's a fairly broad archetype that Lindsay Lohan would do spectacularly well to claim.
Yeah, in LA I think there's quite a lot of similar stories that that could be based on any of them.
Yeah, exactly. I think now she's just the new embodiment of that classic Hollywood sort of celeb gone wrong story, I suppose.
Yeah. So let us know what you think about that in the comments, and the content creator stuff as well, when you think it might be out, the kind of things you think you might be creating. Finally, Dan, for this week, the Jetpack non-news that I've got to tell you.
Well, it better be good news. Tell me.
You're going to not be excited. It's just that the guys, the game code is beginning to be cracked wide open now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a guy called Tad on the GTA forums, who's the same guy who deciphered the Morse code from the underwater hatch. Looks Roman going.
Oh yeah.
So he spent ages doing that. He's now been joined by the man behind the Alien Runes post on Reddit. That thing we featured a few weeks ago about the Alien Runes thing. They've teamed up, and now they are cracking.
Do you mean the HUD?
Yes. The HUD. Yeah. With the green symbols on it.
Yeah.
And all of that. They've joined together, and now they're using tools that are publicly available, trying to do it all legally with their own copy of the game.
Okay.
And exploring the game files and seeing how everything fits together. Now they found 2 of the glyphs that are on the side of Mount Chiliad, like hidden away in there. They've still got 6 more to find, and the hunt basically continues for more stuff and how it's all related and how they can do it. But I mean, they seem to be progressing at quite a fast pace. They found some crates and things which look like crates from GTA Online, if I'm honest, but that are meant to supposedly hold secret weapons in and things. So maybe next week we'll come back here and there'll be some actual pictorial evidence of a non-jetpack.
I think, as I hinted last week, I keep receiving interesting tweets from a guy who reads like a cultist, who I don't know if he's like a real man with extreme views, someone who's involved somehow in marketing and is leaking me stuff. Either way, it's quite out there and borderline interesting, some good stuff, but he keeps tweeting me relentlessly and saying, you still haven't got it yet. Effectively saying, there is no jetpack, it's all about the quest for the truth. It doesn't matter what the end object is, it's about your search for greater meaning. That's why Rockstar put it in. It's at the expense of the audience. Real Rockstar fans will understand. And if there's a much bigger set of things he sent me than that, which could fry your brain clean off, including he sent me an audio clip of every single radio entry of the what's called the Journey channel in GTA 4, which says things like, just let go, unplug yourself, the machines are everything, and all that kind of.
Oh, what an afternoon you had listening to that.
I listened to that in bed, like feeling really tired and just thinking maybe I should actually get some sleep, not feel like I'm losing my hinge on reality. It's interesting if you're sort of philosophically minded, or you think you've been philosophically minded and come to the conclusion there's no point thinking about it anymore. Either way, you got to get on with it. It's worth listening to. I'm quite open-minded about it. Would I like a jetpack? Yes. Do I feel like I found a higher truth thinking about it? No. But hey, I'm always open to the higher truth, so let us know in the comments if you found it.
Okay, well that just about wraps up this week's GTA 5 o'clock. Don't forget that on Friday at 4 PM GMT, Dan, will you be back in the saddle for GTA
yes,
5 o'clock live?
Yes, I'm back.
Dan will be back.
For better or for worse. I missed the Black Friday special.
You did. You missed the Black Friday special, and it was great. If you haven't seen that, go and check it out on the channel now. But yeah, we'll be back on Friday for the live stream, and then back again next Wednesday for more GTA 5 o'clock.
Goodbye, and keep searching for the truth that's out there.